Ezra Levant here for Rebel News. Behind me, a police car. Don't worry, I'm not being arrested. It's just parked next to this building here, which is the Federal Court of Appeal in downtown Toronto. In a few minutes' time, I'll be making my way up into the court to the 7th floor, where Rebel News is challenging a decision by the lower court, the federal court, regarding freedom of the press. Let me give you a quick summary of it. Justin Trudeau decided to regulate journalism. He invented a journalism license called the QCJO, Qualified Canadian Journalism Organization. Now, that's not a Canadian thing to do. In Canada, the government doesn't get to choose who is or isn't journalists. The government doesn't get to decide who can or can't criticize them. But Trudeau did it, and the rest of the media went along with it for two reasons. Number one, of course, they were all getting this license. Naturally, it was really targeting independent, critical journalists like Rebel News. And number two, when you get this license, you get massive government funding. So, for example, why would the Toronto Star or the Globe and Mail, which have this journalism license, criticize the licensing regime when it's just independent guys like Rebel News who are locked out? So we're going to be in the court by ourselves today, I predict. The Federal Court of Appeal, we've got two lawyers on our side. I don't know how many will be on the government side. Typically they send 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, it's only taxpayers' money, right? The Justice Department is really the largest law firm in Canada, and they will be deployed. They will be arguing that the government has the power to determine who is or isn't a journalist. And in one sense, who cares what they say, right? We can just do our journalism as usual. Not quite, because flowing from this QCJO license are various things. The smallest thing, for example, is that subscribers to QCJO news sources can write off their subscription fees on their taxes. It's not a huge thing, but it's a two-tiered system. If you buy government-approved news, you'll get a tax credit, but if you buy independent news, you won't. It's a little bit of discrimination pushing people towards their propaganda pages, but that's the least of it. I mentioned already massive government subsidies are available to QCJO sources. Obviously, Rebel News would never apply for or accept government money. Here's what really worries me about it. First of all, the credentialing is morally wrong. Who the hell is the government to determine who is or isn't a journalist? But C-18, which is another government bill, gives the government the power to order social media platforms to change what they call discoverability. That's a fancy way of saying when you type in a search for Mark Carney News or Liberal Party, what is the order that things show up? That's a very important part of the internet. And under C-18, the federal government gave itself the power to order Facebook, YouTube, Google, Twitter, whoever, to alter their algorithm to suit the government's political purposes. Now, the example they gave in the legislation, they just gave a short list and said, and others. They had a couple examples. One was French language results, another was indigenous language results, but they left it open. So if you do not have a QCJO news license, the government can order your news to be suppressed, downranked, deboosted. But if you toe the government line and get a QCJO news license, they can order the press to boost you, order the social media companies to boost your results. It's a way of interfering with the internet and cutting off traffic to independent sites like ours. You think this would animate every free speech activist in the country, from the Canadian Association of Journalists to the falsely named Canadian Journalists for Free Expression. But they don't care because, like I say, they're all on the inside. They get paid to be Trudeau and now Mark Carney shills. Well, not us. We're going to fight. And I've set up a special website called letusreport.com. And there's two reasons to go there. The first is I have put up the legal briefs both from our lawyers and from the government lawyers there. The government case is 30 pages long, ours is 34 pages, so it's not a super long read. And I want you to see both visions of Canada. The government vision, where bureaucrats and politicians get to determine who is or isn't a journalist, and our vision, which is let people decide. What's the government doing meddling? I think that's unconstitutional, frankly. That's one reason to go to letusreport.com. The other is I need your help. The government has unlimited resources. They want to squash us like a bug. It's obvious. We are on our own. We have to crowdfund our legal fees, and we're being economical, but we want good lawyers. If you can help me cover the cost of that, go to letusreport.com. Anyways, I'm going in right now. I'm going to get through the metal detector, and I'm going to go take a seat, and I will be live tweeting the proceedings. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be the only one in there. This isn't the sort of thing that concerns the Canadian Association of Journalists. They don't really care about government regulation because it benefits them. I think we may be the only news company in Canada that doesn't get the QCJO designation, and I have heard the law referred to by two different people as the Get Rebel law because it's so obviously targeted at us. It hasn't stopped us yet in 10 years, but I am worried that if they order the algorithm to be changed, they're coming for us. Anyways, follow my tweets on my Twitter handle, or X as it's now called, simply my name, Ezra Levant, but go to letusreport.com. There you can see the government case and our case. And, wish me luck. Talk to you soon.